Spanish broom has long, slender, leafless or few-leaved green branches and contains no spines. Their fragrant yellow flowers are carried or transported in loose terminal clusters. Their seeds can remain viable in soil for more than 80 years. Spanish broom may reproduce by seeds or by stump sprouting. So, they could reproduce on their own by their seeds, fluttering in the breeze and, getting where they need to go on their own. Or you could, basically transplant it from one place to another and it'll do it that way. Their fruits are flattened brown pods, and they can reach up to 75 millimeters long, and they are covered with white, silky hairs. The typical size of Spanish broom are 6 to 10 feet tall, both height and width, but they can reach to be up to 15 feet in height. Although commonly known as pesky and invasive species, the Spanish broom is a popular garden plant in dry climates like in Texas, Arizona, Southern California, places like that. Although dry conditions are preferable, especially once established, its stems are green all year round, so it should be monitored for winter moisture, and pruning is really only necessary to remove occasional winter dieback.
Spanish broom is native to and originally from southern Mediterranean region of Europe, including Spain, Morocco, the Canary Islands, Madeira, and the Azores. Spanish broom was introduced in the 1800s as an easy-to-grow garden accent and a land stabilizer. It has become an increasing threat and a fire hazard. After the Spanish broom's 7 to 8 years of life, it dies and becomes a dry, woody skeleton that can burn very high as well as very hot. This shrub is also now known as being invasive throughout California and is planned to be eradicated. In the United States, Spanish broom grows mainly on the West Coast, including California, Washington, and Oregon. It has also been showing up in parts of Hawaii. In other states where it doesn't grow naturally, it is planted and grown as a cultivated ornamental. This means that Spanish broom is planted for show and decoration. Spanish broom grows best in coastal shrub, wetlands, grassland, and oak. With this being said, Spanish broom grows best in full sun and in very dry soil. This invasive plant can grow in between 1 and 1.5 inches per year, 10 feet tall as well as 10 feet wide throughout its lifetime. The history of uses for the Spanish broom have varied throughout the years, and now there are a couple of different uses for this shrub. One of the uses is it can be used for medicine. The part of the broom used for medicine is the flowers. It is taken to treat constipation mostly. Another use for Spanish broom is it is being used for flavoring in food and beverages. The last use that I have done research on is that Spanish broom is good for fragrance and soaps and different types of cosmetics.
The Spanish broom is originally from the southern Mediterranean region of Europe, coming from places such as Spain, Morocco, the Canary Islands, Madeira, as well as the Azores Islands. Its Latin name is Spartium gentium. The Spanish broom is a medium-sized shrub that can grow up to 10 to 15 feet tall. It's pretty wide as well. Its leaves are small, ranging from a half to an inch long, and are as large, bright yellow flowers. The Spanish broom has green, broom-like stems, hence the name, that are flexible, stand upright, and have little to no leaves. This is where the large, bright yellow flowers are grown. The shrub also has flat green seed pods. Its leaves remain on the plant for approximately 4 months or less. The Spanish broom grows best in poor, well-drained soils and full sun exposure. The shrub only requires occasional irrigation once it's fully grown and established. It doesn't require any fertilizers or pesticides. The Spanish broom has many environmental, social, and economic impacts. Its environmental impacts seem to be quite negative. It can cause loss of greenland and open forest habitat due to displacing other plants. Its seeds can be toxic to not only humans, but horses and livestock as well. And it also may increase the intensity of grassland and forest fires. The only beneficial environmental impact of the plant is that it can be used as a food source for animals. It has a couple social impacts as well, such as being used in ornamental trade as well as to make yellow dye. The Spanish broom also has economic impacts such as that it's easy to grow and inexpensive, and it's also grown by planting seeds.
The Spanish broom's stems and shoots contain most of the cellulose and lignin. The leaves and flowers contain most of the pentosan. The flowers also contain the natural yellow dye used for coloring textile products. Those flowers can be used as a heart tonic or a natural digestive, although it's not used that way professionally. The agronomic components of Spanish broom, such as low environmental impact and high fiber production, lend it to a strong alternative for non-biodegradable parts of biocomposites and textiles. The production of fibers from Spanish broom used to have a low efficiency until about 4 years ago, in 2014, when the chemical-mechanical method was invented. The process contains treating branches with 15% sodium hydroxide at 100 degrees Celsius for 15 minutes, then washing it in deionized water. It is then oxidized in an autoclave at 120 degrees Celsius at 1 megapascal for 3 hours. The fiber is finally washed and dried in deionized water. With this new method, Spanish broom outperforms flax in cellulose yield, max strain, tensile strength, absorptivity, reabsorptivity, cost of production, availability of environments to grow in. Compared to hemp, it contains roughly 40% more cellulose and about 9% less lignin, while hemp contains no pentosan. Since Spanish broom uses less water, it also has a lower cost of production, making it a strong competitor with hemp and flax in biocomposite materials, the textile industry, and the paper industry. The reason it's not well known or widely commercialized yet is due to the highly efficient method being just discovered. Hemp and flax are also well-established sources for the mentioned industries, with highly commercialized processes. The Spanish broom will most likely sweep away competition in the next decade as more applications are found now that it is economically competitive.
Spanish broom is a very historically important plant. Its fibers were used by several Mediterranean civilizations as raw material to make products such as ropes, nets, bags, sails, clothing, baskets, and tarps. The plant's flowers have also been known to produce products such as yellow dyes, honey, medicine, oils for perfumes. The most consistent part of processing for all Spanish broom products is to tie the Spanish broom shoots into bundles and then to soak them in water. This step is very consistent with everything I've seen. The water's temperature and the amount of time you should leave the shoots in the water is very dependent on factors such as preference, experimentation, and resources available. I've seen a range of leaving the shoots in water for 21 days at a temperature of 22 degrees Celsius to be put in a special microwave for just 10 minutes. Once you've completed the soaking, you should be able to separate the fibers from the woody part of the Spanish broom. This can be done in a variety of ways, including a rubbing against stone plates, using an electric grinder, or by using a few other peeling or grinding methods. Once the fibers have been successfully separated, the remaining process becomes dependent on what you're doing with the shoots or the fibers. if you're trying to make the traditional products out of the fibers, you can just weave them into whatever you're making. The traditional application of Spanish broom as a raw material has almost fully been forgotten today. The entire activity is done more for tourist significance, used by traditionalists or craftsmen in the Mediterranean. In the U.S., Spanish broom is now largely considered to be an invasive species and grows on the West Coast. However, during the past several years, the amount of scientific work related to the production of Spanish broom as raw material in manufacturing composite materials has considerably increased, and this is because it's much cheaper to produce than synthetic fibers.
Today I will be discussing the economic factors of Spartium gypsum, commonly known as Spanish broom. It is unclear when it was exported here, but the species is native to the Mediterranean, Southwest Asia, and North Africa. Spanish broom is not a particularly expensive nor sought-after plant. It can be found relatively easily if you are looking to purchase it. For example, a 3.25-gallon plant will cost about $26.98. Spanish broom is commonly sold at retail botanical shops such as Bachman's, Lowe's, TreeFarm.com, and even eBay. The majority of sales of Spanish brooms are classified as decoration or for gardens. It can also be sold for medicinal use. They can be used fresh or dried. They are known as being cardiotonic, meaning it is beneficial for the contractions of your heart, and also cathartic, meaning it provides psychological relief. Other uses for the sale of Spanish broom include hemp substitute for yarn. It can be made into thread, cordage, and other coarse fabrics. It is also available to be used for stuffing pillows and for making paper. The smaller stems of Spanish broom are used in basket making, and the branches are often made into brooms, hence the name. The brooms are the largest example of the Spanish broom's economic power. These brooms are known to be of high quality and can be sold anywhere from $50 to $100. Overall, the Spanish broom is not a particularly economically important plant. It is used commonly by households and parks as decoration or for gardens.
Spanish broom seems to be most common in disturbed areas, especially along roadsides where it was first seeded in the early 1900s. Spanish broom has been planted along roads for around 20 years, where it both survives and grows well, but has not been able to invade the adjoining stands of chaparral. It has since become invasive in chaparral in Southern California, where it was seeded for revegetation after fires in the early 1900s as well. As a Mediterranean native, the Spanish broom thrives on abandonment and is especially useful in poor, well-drained soil and especially exposed in super sunny areas. Actually, Spanish broom is one out of 4 invasive broom species that occur in North America. There is the Spanish broom, the Scotch broom, the Portuguese broom, and the French broom, and they all occur in similar habitats. So, bad soil, hot, dry, sunny, stuff like that. According to the California Invasive Plant Council, Spanish broom occurs in coastal scrub, grassland, wetland, and oak woodland throughout California, and then forests in the northwestern part of California as well. Spanish broom is associated with coyote bush in the interior Santa Cruz Mountains, with a large monospecific stand of French broom that are located downslope. Spanish broom also occur in redwood forests in California as well. Thank you.